Imagine this: a quiet morning, a cup of coffee, the newspaper spread out before you. A typical day. And then, in an instant, the world tilts. Words become a jumble. A limb refuses to move. A side of your face feels strangely numb. This is the brutal, sudden reality of a stroke. It strikes without warning, stealing independence, clarity, and connection. It is a leading cause of death and disability worldwide, particularly for those of us over 60. The numbers are stark, but what if the conventional wisdom about preventing this devastating event is incomplete? What if the standard advice, while important, misses a crucial piece of the puzzle? What if the true power to prevent stroke after 60 lies not just in managing external factors, but in mastering an unseen internal force? This is the central question we must answer together. For years, the message has been clear, consistent, and seemingly comprehensive. Prevent stroke by controlling your blood pressure, managing cholesterol, keeping diabetes in check, quitting smoking, eating a healthy diet, and exercising regularly. This is the bedrock of stroke prevention, the advice echoed by doctors and health organizations alike. It's the familiar roadmap, the common wisdom we've all come to accept. And it's pervasive because it makes logical sense. High blood pressure puts strain on your vascular system, like a pipe under too much pressure, ready to burst or spring a leak. High cholesterol contributes to plaque buildup, narrowing the arteries, like sediment clogging those pipes, restricting flow. Diabetes damages blood vessels over time, weakening the system. Smoking introduces toxins that accelerate this damage. Poor diet and inactivity contribute to all of these issues. This model of prevention focuses on the physical mechanics of the circulatory system, treating it like a complex plumbing network that needs careful maintenance and repair. And this approach has saved lives. We believe this story because we see the tangible evidence of these risk factors. We understand pressure, clogs, and wear and tear. We've seen the effects of these conditions on ourselves and those around us. This focus on the physical, the measurable, the external, forms the foundation of the old worldview. It is a necessary part of the truth, but it is not the whole truth. Yet, despite widespread awareness and efforts to manage these traditional risk factors, stroke remains a formidable threat, particularly as we age. Why? If we're doing everything right, according to the old roadmap, why are so many still experiencing strokes? Here's where the first crack in the foundation appears. Leading neurologists and researchers have begun to uncover powerful, often overlooked factors that significantly increase stroke risk, even when traditional metrics are seemingly under control. Consider the startling evidence emerging about the impact of sleep. For years, sleep was viewed primarily as a period of rest, but recent studies paint a different picture. Research involving middle-aged and older adults has shown that poor sleep quality is associated with a significantly higher long-term risk of stroke. One study found that participants with poor baseline sleep quality had more than double the risk of stroke compared to those with good sleep quality. Another study highlighted that persistently long sleep, or a substantial increase in sleep duration over time, was associated with a much higher stroke risk. This isn't just about feeling tired. This is about a fundamental biological process that, when disrupted, directly impacts your vulnerability to stroke. It's a crack in the idea that stroke prevention is only about blood pressure cuffs and cholesterol numbers. It reveals that something deeper, something less immediately visible, is at play. The old story is incomplete. A new understanding is necessary. The first pillar of a more complete stroke prevention strategy: especially after 60, builds upon the known but adds a crucial layer of understanding. It is the strategic management of your vascular health, viewed not just as fixing problems, but as proactive, sophisticated maintenance of a complex, living system. The what? This involves a multi-pronged approach to the traditional risk factors, but with a renewed emphasis on personalized, aggressive management informed by the latest research. This means working closely with your healthcare team to ensure blood pressure is not just okay, but optimally controlled, often requiring 2 or more medications. It means managing cholesterol with appropriate lipid-lowering therapy, which studies show benefits older adults even more than younger individuals. It means vigilant control of blood sugar if you have diabetes. And it absolutely means eliminating smoking and limiting alcohol. The how. This isn't a one-size-fits-all prescription. It requires regular checkups, consistent monitoring, and open communication with your doctor. It involves understanding your specific risk profile, which may include factors like atrial fibrillation or carotid artery narrowing, and addressing them appropriately. It means adhering to prescribed medications diligently. The scientific why. Think of your circulatory system not just as pipes, but as a bustling city's transportation network. The arteries are the highways, carrying vital supplies, oxygen, and nutrients to every neighborhood, your organs and tissues. High blood pressure is like constant gridlock and reckless driving, causing wear and tear on the roads and increasing the likelihood of catastrophic accidents. Cholesterol plaque is like road construction that never finishes, narrowing lanes and creating bottlenecks. Diabetes damages the road surface itself, making it brittle and prone to collapse. Medications and lifestyle changes are like a dedicated department of transportation, constantly monitoring traffic flow, repairing damage, and implementing upgrades to keep the city moving smoothly. Lipid-lowering therapy clears congestion. Blood pressure medication regulates traffic speed and volume. Diabetes management protects the road surface. This foundational strategy is about ensuring the physical infrastructure of your body's city is robust and resilient, capable of handling the demands placed upon it. Let's consider Robert. Robert was in his late 60s, active, and thought he was doing everything right. He walked most days, ate a reasonably healthy diet, and his blood pressure and cholesterol were borderline. He felt fine. The idea of more aggressive management felt excessive. He was skeptical. His doctor, however, saw his age and family history as red flags and recommended a more proactive approach, including medication for blood pressure and cholesterol, even though his numbers weren't critically high. Robert resisted initially, citing potential side effects and the hassle of daily pills. He struggled to remember doses, sometimes skipping them when he felt particularly well. But then, a friend his age had a stroke. It was a wake-up call. Robert recommitted. He used a pill organizer, set phone reminders, and started tracking his blood pressure daily. He focused on reducing sodium in his diet, reading labels carefully. The changes felt small at first, almost insignificant. But slowly, his blood pressure numbers began to consistently drop into the healthy range. His cholesterol improved. He felt a subtle increase in energy, a quiet confidence that he was actively fighting back against a silent threat. It wasn't a sudden miracle, but a gradual, steady ascent built on consistent action and a newfound understanding of the stakes. While managing the physical infrastructure is essential, it's not the only layer of defense. The second core strategy, the amplification strategy, focuses on optimizing the flow within that network, ensuring smooth passage and preventing dangerous blockages. This is where we look beyond the major highways to the intricate network of smaller roads and the crucial elements circulating within them. The what? This pillar emphasizes the importance of preventing blood clots and addressing specific vascular vulnerabilities. This includes strategies like appropriate antiplatelet therapy, like aspirin, though guidelines for its use in primary prevention for those over 60 have become more nuanced due to bleeding risks, requiring careful discussion with a doctor. Or anticoagulants, if you have conditions like atrial fibrillation, which significantly increase the risk of clots forming in the heart and traveling to the brain. It also involves addressing carotid artery disease, the narrowing of the major arteries in the neck that supply blood to the brain, sometimes requiring procedures to clear blockages. The how. This requires specific medical evaluation and tailored treatment. It means getting screened for atrial fibrillation, especially if you experience palpitations or shortness of breath. It means discussing the risks and benefits of antiplatelet or anticoagulant therapy with your doctor, based on your individual risk factors. It means investigating symptoms like transient ischemic attacks, TIAs, or mini-strokes, which are powerful warning signs of potential carotid artery issues. The scientific why. If Pillar 1 was about maintaining the city's highways, Pillar 2 is about managing the vehicles and the flow of traffic. Blood clots are like sudden, dangerous pileups that can completely block a road, halting the delivery of vital supplies and causing damage to the neighborhood's downstream, brain tissue. Antiplatelet and anticoagulant medications are like traffic control systems and rules of the road that prevent these pileups from forming. Addressing carotid artery disease is like clearing a major, persistent bottleneck on a critical route into the city. When combined with Pillar 1, which ensures the roads are in good repair, this amplification strategy ensures that the traffic flows freely and safely, dramatically reducing the chance of a catastrophic blockage. These two pillars work in synergy. Now, a part of you might be thinking, this sounds like a lot. More doctors, more tests, more pills. It feels overwhelming. And that is a perfectly rational thought. This is the point where most people stumble, where the complexity and the perceived burden lead to inaction. This is the common pitfall, being paralyzed by the scope of the problem and the perceived difficulty of the solution. But here's how to fly right past it. You don't have to do everything at once. Stroke prevention is not a sprint. But what if I told you that both of these powerful strategies, maintaining the infrastructure and managing the flow, are just tools? Essential tools, yes, but tools nonetheless. The real power isn't just in the tool, but in the hand that wields it, and more fundamentally, in the underlying system that dictates how effectively those tools are used and how resilient the entire network is. We've talked about the physical city and its transportation network. But what powers that city? What is its underlying operating system? The unseen force that influences everything from the health of the roads to the smoothness of the traffic flow. This is where we pivot from the external, the purely physical, to the internal, the profound connection between your mind and your body, and the physiological state it creates. What pioneering neurologists and researchers are increasingly highlighting is the critical, often underestimated role of chronic stress, inflammation, and even sleep quality. That crack we saw earlier, not just as results of poor health, but as drivers of stroke risk. These are just abstract concepts. These internal states act like a hidden operating system, constantly running in the background, influencing the effectiveness of all your external efforts. You can have the best medications and the healthiest diet, but if this underlying system is in disarray, you are still vulnerable. This unseen force is the missing piece for many, the key to unlocking a deeper level of prevention. This brings us to the third pillar, the master control, actively managing your internal physiological and psychological state. This is the deepest level of prevention, addressing the root causes that can undermine even the best external strategies. The what? This pillar is centered on reducing chronic stress, managing inflammation, and prioritizing restorative sleep. These aren't just nice-to-haves. The how. This involves incorporating practices that directly influence your nervous system and inflammatory response. Techniques like mindfulness meditation, deep breathing exercises, yoga, and spending time in nature have been shown to lower cortisol levels, reduce inflammation markers, and help regulate blood pressure. Prioritizing 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep per night is paramount. This might involve establishing a consistent sleep schedule, creating a relaxing bedtime routine, and optimizing your sleep environment. It also means actively addressing sources of chronic stress in your life and seeking support if needed. The scientific why. Let's return to our city analogy. If Pillar 1 was the physical infrastructure and Pillar 2 was traffic management, Pillar 3 is the city's power grid and its central command center. Chronic stress is like a constant power surge, overloading circuits and causing unpredictable failures. Inflammation is like a slow, persistent electrical fire, damaging wiring and systems over time. Poor sleep is like the power grid constantly flickering or shutting down intermittently, disrupting essential services throughout the city. Actively managing these internal states is like upgrading the power grid to be stable and resilient, installing sophisticated surge protectors, and having a highly efficient central command that can quickly address issues. Mindfulness and relaxation techniques are like grounding wires and voltage regulators, calming the system. Prioritizing sleep is like ensuring the grid gets the necessary downtime for maintenance and repair. When the internal operating system is stable and optimized, the entire city, your body, functions more effectively. The transportation network, circulatory system, is less prone to breakdowns. The vehicles, blood flow, move more smoothly, and the risk of catastrophic failure, stroke, is significantly reduced. This is the deepest level of control, the master switch that amplifies the effectiveness of all other prevention efforts. Mastering this internal state doesn't just reduce your stroke risk. Think about it. Less stress often leads to better food choices and more motivation to be physically active. Better sleep enhances cognitive function, making it easier to manage medications and appointments. A calmer internal state improves emotional regulation, leading to stronger relationships and a greater sense of well-being. This isn't just about avoiding a negative outcome. We began by asking if the conventional wisdom about stroke prevention was incomplete. We've journeyed through the essential strategies of managing the physical infrastructure and optimizing blood flow. And we've uncovered the profound impact of the unseen force, your internal state. The ultimate guide to stroke prevention after 60 is not one strategy, but 3 interconnected pillars working in harmony. Pillar 1, strategic vascular management, maintaining the physical network. Pillar 2, clot prevention and vulnerability addressing, optimizing the flow within the network. Pillar 3, mastering the internal state, optimizing the underlying operating system. When you combine diligent medical management with smart lifestyle choices and a conscious effort to cultivate inner calm and prioritize rest, you create a level of resilience that dramatically lowers your risk. And if we distill this entire journey, this comprehensive approach, into one single elegant and powerful idea, It is this: your greatest defense against stroke after 60 is not just managing your risk factors, but mastering your inner world. Knowledge is power, but only when put into action. Let's ignite your journey with a simple 3-day sequence to build unstoppable momentum. Day 1. Take one small action related to Pillar 1. Schedule that overdue checkup with your doctor to discuss your specific risk factors and current guidelines. Or, if you know your numbers aren't ideal, commit to one small dietary change. Swap sugary drinks for water, or add an extra serving of vegetables to one meal. One action. That's all. Day 2. Add one small action related to Pillar 2 or 3. If you have atrial fibrillation, set a reminder to take your anticoagulant medication at the same time each day. If stress is a factor, download a simple mindfulness app and commit to one 5-minute guided session. If sleep is an issue, simply commit to going to bed 15 minutes earlier tonight. One small additional action. Day 3. Solidify your new habit. Repeat the actions from day 1 and day 2. Add a third small action, perhaps related to physical activity, a 10-minute walk around the block. By taking these small, consistent steps over 72 hours, you begin to rewire your routine and build the foundation for lasting change. You are not just learning. You have embarked on a vital journey today. You have looked beyond the obvious, challenged conventional wisdom, and embraced a more complete understanding of stroke prevention. You are not just a passive recipient of information. The horizon before you is one of possibility, of continued independence, and of preserving the sharp mind and vibrant spirit that define you. Your legacy is not just in the years you live, but in the quality of life you maintain, the connections you cherish, and the example you set for those who follow. What is one step you will take today, right now, to master your inner world and strengthen your defense against stroke? Share your commitment. This guide is for informational purposes only and does not constitute medical advice. Always consult with your healthcare provider before making any decisions about your health or treatment.